Hello, welcome to the Sovereign Magazine show, Transformational Experience, where conscious conversations meet embodied wisdom. Each episode invites visionary healers, thought leaders, and change makers to share their journeys of awakening, offering listeners practical tools and soul stirring insights to reclaim their inner authority. We have the amazing Heather Ruth back for the Cards of Destiny series. She is
Mm.
a master numerologist and spiritual architect, bridging Pythagorean wisdom, which is with the Cards of Destiny system and contemporary energetic psychology. As the founder of Pure Soulful Coaching, she crafts intricate blueprints of soul potential, translating cosmic alignment into practical pathways for human evolution. Her work helps clients dissolve ancestral imprints, activate dormant potential, and embody their sovereign design with unwavering clarity. Without
Mm.
further ado, welcome Miss Heather Ruth. And today we're going to be talking about the spiritual spread versus the life spread. So if you missed our foundational episodes about what the cards of destiny are, your birth card, planetary ruler cards, go back, listen to episodes 1 through 3. Today we are talking about spiritual spread and life spread. Welcome, my lovely.
Thank you so much. I love talking about this stuff, and it's really beautiful since we started this journey. What's occurred for me, and so it's actually just it's in both of those spreads. I can see that potentiality, and so when we talked about the what is the system, Destiny of Cards, and we've talked about that before. Today, we really want to understand like through my own life, what the life spread and the spiritual spread together are actually telling us about this existence. It's kind of becomes undeniable when you look at it. Like it's just that
Okay.
sort of space where you're like, whoa. So the more I dive into myself and utilize that, the life spread and the spiritual spread are actually just they're not separate systems. They're of the same system. But I want you to think about looking at it through two different lens points.
Okay.
Okay.
Like perspectives, or are you talking about like there are two pathways that you take that like parallel each other?
They're pretty much happening all at the same time. But like the life spread is more like zoomed up close range.
Okay.
Okay. And then the spiritual spread, of course, people call me when I'm in here. The spiritual spread is much more of like that zoomed out perspective. Does that make
So the
sense?
macro and the micro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I see the spiritual spread much more like potentiality.
Okay.
Like here's all of the potentials that you could live, your soul's decided they want the lessons to be.
All the options, all the
Oh,
macro.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
life is like, well, you came in and you chose this card, this birth card, and this is the lessons, the structure, the challenges that you potentially will face, not
Okay.
negating free will.
Okay. Okay. Not negating it.
No, free will is a huge point. It works in union with it. Because I do find what I find with some of these like systems that people get really hung up on following it to the letter of what the person who's read for them, and then they can get sort of fumbly because it doesn't really mimic or really feel like their life that they're actually living. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when Robert Lee Camp mapped out the cards of destiny, he's probably the one of the most profound, like known people that does this. He essentially was giving a person an alive, personalized, energetic calendar. So we look at our man-made calendar and we can map out our quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. Well, you also have that in your life spread, and everything is then those 7 planetary seasons, roughly 52 days each throughout your whole year. That's in your life spread.
You mean 52 weeks?
Every 52 days,
Okay.
in our like from birthday to birthday, we experience a new planetary influence
Every 52 days we
from
experience a
your
new.
birthday. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So when
I
you
haven't heard
first
this
have your
yet.
birthday,
Okay.
you're coming in those first 52 days. Like, so I'm born, for example, on April the 15th.
Okay.
And
Tax
for
day here. Wonderful.
yeah, tax day, yay. It was always the end of university for me. Like it was the
Oh,
biggest
okay.
celebration. I was like, oh, good, my birthday's on the big celebration day. And so astrologically, we know that like in tropical astrology, that's Aries, right? But what it is actually telling me is that the first 52 days of my now new year, I'm influenced by Mercury. And that is the planet of vision and planning and communication and creative ways of thinking. Mercury really, it's like wants you to get going. And so for me, it's never always been a super active time of like physical action, but it is when I start my planning process
Okay.
for my
Okay.
year. Like, because I'm actually living by that. So when people talk about Q1, Q2, Q3, I'm great. I like listen to the collective. And then I have to look at, okay, where am I actually sitting in my own energetics?
So your Q1 basically would be April, May, June.
Yeah, essentially.
Got
Pretty
it.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we move into like Venus, Mars, Jupiter. So Venus is being sort of that period of connection, your creative sort of season. It's when you're like bouncing off information with other people. You want to be in relationship, essentially. You feel that bigger draw to that like relational piece. Mars then being that sort of well, Mars is the planet of passion and building. And so Mars is gonna want to project you into action. So everything you thought about, planned about, visioned in Mercury, Mars now wants to take that forward. It's like if
Okay.
you haven't already moved some steps forward, Mars is going to be like, okay, let's go. You said you wanted to do this. So it's going to
Mhm.
be like you're passionate about it. So I actually thought in my Mercury, I was like, how do I get more visibility? How do I kind of come out into the world in a bit different of way? Can I still repurpose my information and talk about this? We started filming these basically just prior to that beginning of my birthday. So I'd
Mhm.
already kind of looked at that. I'm not even in Mars yet. And I'm already doing the actions. So Mars for me will probably not feel as tough as it usually has in the past when I didn't take the action. It'll feel a lot more like the speed is speeding up, right?
Okay.
What gives you that? And I love it because it allows me to just unfold in a much more natural rhythm versus like trying to force myself into a square box when I'm around Peg.
hmm hmm And so that leads me to my question. I have always felt very connected to not necessarily the Gregorian calendar itself, just because it is, but I'm born in January. So does that fall in line with the same kind of like, because when it's like the new year and it's fresh and we've just come out of the holidays, then I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like for the
Yeah.
first 2, 3 months, I'm like, and then all of a sudden I have this like slump in March. And I'm like, between like March, well, maybe more like April, May, June, I'm like, oh man, I'm tired.
Yeah, because you've probably like I always find people like my husband's born in end of January. And so he kind of comes out and he can adopt that new year a lot easier than myself.
Yeah, I remember
So you-
remember at the beginning of this year, you were like, I haven't risen yet. Like, no, thank you.
Because
This
I
is
hadn't like when you're sitting in that, so for you, December is very Neptune-y, it's very dreamy. It's also again, you can plan in Neptune. You start seeing through the illusions of yourself, the stories you did tell yourself throughout the whole year. And you're like, okay, well, that was not real, right? Like I was just giving myself this illusion, and then you get clarity as you start seeping in closer and
yep,
closer to your birthday
yep.
and you want to speak about all of that. So then you come out in January for yourself in that Mercury. It's a great time to be visioning the next stages, visioning the steps, and communicating while you do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so you're doing that. And then all of a sudden, you probably 52 days later, you'll hit Venus, which is probably right in that March time. And you want to pull back a little bit. You want to connect with your family. You want to be with the people that you love the most because they're also that like that generator for you of energetics for your mission, for whatever it is that you're doing in the world.
Yeah. And now that it's June, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm kind of springing back up
And
again.
you know what? I can tell the audience this. I can witness this. Like we started filming this probably like in my own Neptune. My own energy was a little bit denser. It was a little bit more about like what was I seeing, what was I feeling, but I could feel your vibrancy. And I have also witnessed that pull back, that moment where you were like, okay, just a second. I don't want to be as visible right now because I need to be in that like connection. I'm creating again. What's that other like piece of that? Venus. How do I love myself at this new version that I was
Yeah.
feeling in Mercury? And then as Mars starts to seep in, you're like, okay, I can go out. I can party a little bit more often. I can talk to more people. I can be out in public. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's so, so true. It's so interesting when we can witness ourselves in a new way with new words and language. And
Hmm.
I'm loving this. Okay. I want to hear more.
Yeah, so thinking about things like so Mars about Jupiter is where blessings concentrate, the abundance flows, right? So we really want to know when our Jupiter period is in our year because we really want to pay attention. Are we expanding, right? Jupiter's the planet of expansion. Like look how big it is. Think about how far it actually is from the sun. And it doesn't require the sun to give it heat because it just fundamentally the sun does not hit it, but it generates so much. So when you think about it, I always like to give people like think about hopping planets, what that would feel like if you were that
Mhm.
person out there jumping from planet to planet to planet. And Earth is not a celestial body the same way we look at the other planets. So Mercury, Venus, Mars are our inner circle. That's why it's a lot denser. We're a lot more into the what we need. And then we hit Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. That's on the outer rim. Earth stands in this beautiful place in between all these planets. That's here's the experience that we get to have, right?
Mhm.
Saturn, it's where all the lessons get real. Like if we did not do what we said in Mars that we were going to do, like in Mercury for the year, and we didn't put any action in place, by the time we get to Saturn, Saturn says, well, are you going to do it? And it's essentially, are you going to shit or get off the pot? Like, how long are you going to sit in that toilet?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it's where karma shows up at the door saying, are you going to do this cycle again? So you said you wanted to do something better with your money, and you'd said that all in Mercury. You made a few little steps, but you didn't really actually put any action behind that. And all of a sudden that big bill shows up at the door in Saturn. And you're like, oh my goodness, how are we going to do that? And you're back in a loop of either poverty mindset or you've adopted the abundance mindset and you feel really good. Saturn's going to say, you get the choice today. Are you going to own that bill or are you going to forget that bill?
Mm.
Because if you
Mm.
forget it, that making a choice, you'll go back through that whole money pattern, that whole story for another year.
Oh my goodness. I can definitely see that. Like, one of the questions I journaled on recently, got the prompt in a book that I'm reading from another person in our community. And by the way, you should write a book.
I will.
I'm just
You, it's
putting
coming
that out
down.
there
It's
for you.
coming down the
Just
pipeline.
yes, good, good, because then I'll read it.
Okay.
But anyway, I was doing this brain dump, and the question was like, what are you ready to be done with, right?
Mm,
And it was just that was the question in the circle. And she was like, don't think about it, just make lines out, do more circles and more circles and more circles and all of all the things. And the things that I wrote in there, I'm like, they're already shifting. But all I did was like write them down. But I'm already noticing a difference in my body and my energy because like I wrote it down almost as if like it's a checklist and a to-do list.
mm,
So it's it's that accountability that once we get to our Saturn, like you said, like how many times am I going to repeat this damn cycle and sabotage myself regarding my health in general? And
yeah, that's
it,
important. Yeah.
I just keep eating the damn brownie that I keep making for myself and making my whole throat swell up. And I mean, in my defense, I didn't know that that's what was causing it.
Right.
I'm assuming that it's food, and I just got to figure this out. But either
Yeah.
way. I'm like, I'm ready. I'm done. I'm done with this thing. And today my throat's fine. I'm like, okay, I made the decision. I'm seeing the
Because now
result.
you're also interacting with your body and your energetic signature and your soul,
Right.
right? And your soul's like, okay, she's finally done with this. We don't have to keep showing her this through her physicality and her throat, right? Like, hi, pay
Exactly.
attention to what it is you're consuming.
Exactly. And whose energy am I around that I'm consuming that may not be aligned, right? It's all
Ooh,
these
big one.
little things, right?
Yeah.
That point me towards I'm ready
Yeah.
to get off the pot,
I
basically.
love it. Yay, we're getting off the pot. We're going to take our life a little bit more seriously. And I think that's really good. Because then when we hit things like Uranus, and we know that Uranus is sort of this sort of planet that's going to put a little obstacle in place or an obstruction. It's like it's all of a sudden you're going straight and you're looking at the map and you're like, oh, but the road still goes this way. But you didn't know that there was construction that had occurred on that road, and now you have to go left or you have to go right. That's what Uranus will do, right? It's like you just can't see some things coming. And that's okay. That's kind of how life works. And it's like, but it's also happening at the exact right moment for you. That's the
Yeah.
craziest part. We sometimes don't accept those 90-degree turns and pivots, but we have to be okay with them sometimes. Um, because then the next place you're going to land, you're going to like, oh, I did that 90-degree pivot. Oh, wait. Now my dream has shifted a little bit. My vision becomes maybe potentially a little bit clearer. So as I go into Neptune, dreams either start to land in a better way, in a much more refined way. And we get to see something just a little bit more truer about our path that we're taking. And that's the magic. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
you do not have to white knuckle your way all the way through to Saturn season. That's not like that's not the premise of it. But those inner planets show us the inner work that needs to be done. We arrive in Jupiter because now we're expanded. So then the Saturn and Uranus and Neptune are the outer planets that show us where we get to build possibility, potentiality.
hmm And I often love Uranus because I always know that my logical thought of where I'm going is not where I really want to go. It's just the only thing my mind can conceptualize.
Yeah.
It's often when I am taken in another direction that I could never conceptualize that that's actually where I want to go. And so when I get to Neptune, I'm like, oh yes, this is what I've been wishing
Waiting.
for, but I didn't know how to, I only know how to feel it. I didn't know how to like conceptualize it or put it into words. I can just feel it in my body. I love
Yeah.
this. I love
Yeah, so
this.
that's exactly what that is. And so then here's where the spiritual spread is. It's the long game. It's like, you're going to go and play golf, and some people are like, I don't have a lot of time to do 18 holes, so I'm only going to do 19 holes or 9 holes, excuse me,
19.
right? So I'm only going to do the nine.
Yeah.
But the spiritual spread is the 18-hole game. It's the long game. It operates not from a single lifetime, but across the whole soul's entire arc of life. And
Okay.
so, like, according to more like only Richard, and he wrote the Mystic Test Book. It's not easy to read, it was written in the 1800s. So, this is how old this system actually is. It's where you can actually, it becomes more visible. So, he understood that the deck was not just a personal map, but it was a record of your soul contract. So, the spiritual spread is much more about that soul contract. And when I look at mine, I would like to punch it sometimes. Because
Why? Tell me why.
I'm a diamond. I carry the card six of diamonds. And for me, when I'm going through my spread, I have to travel a lot of physicality. And diamonds are tend to be associated with values, the values we hold in the world, what we decide is valuable in the world. And a lot of times that is financial. And for me, that card is literally said, you are here to become the master of your financial world. I don't like money, never have. I've always rejected it. But deep down inside me, I've always wanted it. So I was in combat with my soul and my own personality, my ego. And until I realized that I had to start taking self-responsibility for my own financial decisions.
Mhm.
And that once I do that, it actually, I can see prosperity, whether I have $10 in my bank account after everything else, or I have $20,000. It's a line and a mentality of feeling that prosperous lifestyle. And so I have to travel seven of diamonds, eight of diamonds, nine of diamonds. I have to learn to trust what I feel, how I think about money from a higher spiritual component as it's here to serve my mission. And I'm not here to serve it.
Mhm.
And so I love that for the biggest piece. And in the spiritual spread, we also see cards like our lifetime environment card, which is what the soul is designed to receive from the world around it across all expressions. And when I tell you this, you're going to die. And then we also have a lifetime displacement card, and it shows us the soul is here to give its deepest karmic contribution to the world. And unfortunately for me, not unfortunately, that's not the right words to use. With as much blessing as possibility, this is where it is undeniable what we've come here to learn in our lifetimes. And I'm just going to move this because I want to look at my spread. Is that when I look at my spiritual spread, my environment card is the nine of clubs. Now, if I didn't want to pay attention to this, that's one thing. But I think the universe was trying to get a message across. So my dad carries the nine of clubs card. My husband carries the nine of clubs card. And my son carries the nine of clubs card. I am here to receive from them. And here's the really cool part about this, because the nine of clubs card is one of my favorites now. It wasn't for a long time, I'll be honest. Because the nine of clubs card is the universal communication completing itself card. My
Mhm.
three men in my life do not get hung up on the things that they know. They just know them.
Mhm.
And it is the most frustrating energetics to be in because it's what I'm supposed to receive and understand. And the nine is the number of release, of completion, of soul that has gathered enough wisdom to let it flow outward to benefit everybody else. Well, what was I doing? I was hoarding my wisdom. So it was uncomfortable. I wasn't sharing it with the world, which is what I'm here to do. I'm here to help people realign themselves and expand.
Mhm.
And once I actually saw that, so with that nine of clubs is the highest expression, it's completing all these cycles of communication, bringing my body of wisdom to its fullest expression as my arms get really big and offering it to the world. And that's what
Mhm.
I'm doing now.
Ah, this is so, so amazing and so fun, right? To
So fun.
learn about ourselves, to be able to understand different phases of our lives and what we're here to do. And when we are in complete alignment with our soul's purpose and it's parroted back to us, it feels so good. Feels so good
100%.
to know, oh my gosh, we got it not right, but we got it right. Like we're on the right path. Like this is so cool.
Yeah. And so I used to hear words like environment or displacement. I would get uncomfortable with displacement. It's like, oh, what does that mean? And be my displacement card is the three of spades, which is that my soul is here to offer its deepest contribution through like a lifetime of creation. Like this mental, beautiful expression, the highest that I can ever get it to. That's what I'm here to do. And so for me, it's refinement after refinement after refinement. And all that Pythagorean energy underneath me, like someone said to me the other day, oh, you just never give up. That's because I carry myself personally, the energy of determination.
Hmm. I do too. I don't give up easily.
I don't give up. And even if I haven't had the most prosperous in like terms of outside looking at my business, doesn't mean I'm done yet. And I don't want to throw
Oh,
the towel in.
and everybody's definition of prosperous is so different.
100%. That's a whole
So,
other podcast.
I mean, yeah, right, right. We could go into that really
Yeah.
deeply.
So what I really want people to understand and what is so beautiful about this system is that it's absolutely here to be that sort of bounce off guidebook. Nothing to get rooted in, nothing to get upset about, nothing to like, we don't have to hang on every single word of what it has to say. It's about you understanding that you're always on that ocean of exploration with self.
Mhm.
But most of the lessons that are happening in your life are happening for a reason.
Yeah.
And the
And
hardest one for me to have learned is the fact that I did put my head in the sand financially. And now I get to go to small claims court against a very big, large financial institution. Yay.
we've all been there. I've been there
But you know
too.
what? I could have looked at it from shame, but instead I looked at it and went, well, if you're not going to learn this lesson now, it'll happen again.
Yeah. 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 I totally get it. Totally get it.
That's really big for me to share that, by the way.
You know what though? But I want to parrot that back to you. I mean, my husband, when I first met him, he was in collections with some of his student loan debt stuff. We, um, we had a condo that we had to short sell at some point because we were underwater. I mean, we've all had these
Had
issues,
that.
right? And anybody who hasn't is either lying. They've had some sort of financial issue at some point. They forgot about a bill or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody has had something. They've been late on a bill. They've had to have some sort of issue. And I would say I'm pretty darn good with our finances. And I've had these issues, right?
Yeah.
Economies don't help us. Um,
Nope.
yeah. So I want to normalize that type of thing as well because we can look at anybody from the outside looking in. I mean, I'll just give you my parents' example, right? My father, when my biological mother left, I was 6 months old. So he had his own business. He never went to college and he was in construction, created his own business. He had to file for bankruptcy because of the divorce, blah, 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 blah. He ended up being a multimillionaire. I mean, he had financial troubles all throughout, and he was a multimillionaire. I mean, we all have them, right?
Yeah.
But for you, it's part of your lesson.
It
And
literally is.
that's the point, is
Yeah.
that regardless of the fact that we all go through it, it's your soul's lesson.
It
And
is.
yeah,
And I've seen it and I sat back this year and I'm so grateful for having meeting you and the community in Sovereign Magazine and just for saying yes because it's actually propelled me to see the bigger picture. So I pulled myself fully out because I'm the prime example of how this system actually is reflected back.
yes, yes to this and more. Okay, we're going to be talking about planetary influences and cycles next time. So if you're enjoying this conversation, definitely like, share, subscribe so that you can get all of the bells and whistles to remind you that we have a new episode.
So what we're going to actually do,
Oh, we're going to change it.
well, we're going to talk about it, but we're
Okay.
going to talk about it from your looking at yours.
I will gladly accept. That will be great. I love when we get to hear more about my chart because then I get to learn something.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, definitely connect with Heather. All her details will be in the show notes. I'm actually signing my daughter up for a session with her. I'm so excited about this. She has picked the date, and you better have your schedule open. She has 2 dates for you. And
Okay,
she
you
said it
just
has
said
to
to
be
me,
on
I'll
this
make it
day.
work.
I don't know why she picked those days, but they're important to her for some reason.
Good. I love it.
Anyway, yes, so definitely like, share, subscribe to Heather. She's amazing. And definitely stay tuned for our next episode. Thanks for being here today.